up in the Bahamas tonight, workers responsible for keeping the roads clean say that they have had enough. They're calling on the government to increase their pay now.
Officials from the National Insurance Board launching its new and improved registration card. I'm LaDawn Davis, and I'll tell you all about it coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And the government responds to reports of wiretapping in the Bahamas.
And breaking news comes just days before the start of the World Relays. You'll hear it first here on ZNS. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
About 100 irate workers show up in Roslyn Square this morning just as cabinet ministers arrive for their weekly meeting. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks so much for joining us. We're broadcasting live from the National Stadium. They marched with placards in the protest for better working conditions and an increase in pay. It's the latest group of workers to attempt to gain the government's attention in its myriads of concerns. Our Janana Well Ferguson tonight tells us that they say they won't stop until their issues are addressed.
The piece of bomb we use to work with, to sweep the road with. We don't have tools to work with. We don't have anything to work with. The clubs, we got to be picking up condom. We got to be picking up their dog.
Road and park workers abandoned their stations and took their cries to Roslyn Square Tuesday morning, hoping to get the attention of the government.
Was working for these years, and they promised us the money, and we need the money, and we need it now.
I'm looking for hazardous pay, and I'm looking to go P&P, Mr. Perry, Gladstone, Christie, and Brave Davis. You're cleaning bathrooms with sandwich gloves.
Old bloody papers, vomit, we have to clean that stuff every day. We don't have nothing to work with. No. Mr. Prime Minister, we need it now. We broke.
Union Vice President Kenzie McKinsey said discussions with government have been fruitless.
In 16, 17 years, and they're still weekly paid, unable to get monies for homes, loans.
Labor Minister Shane Gibson soon arrived at Cabinet and met with union representatives for an impromptu meeting. He, however, did not entertain questions from the press. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Philip Davis soon arrived addressing the issue with reporters.
The reason why works are being contracted is because they are unable to complete the works that we already have there for them. There are 900 miles of roads in the island to be taken care of, and 400 persons, just under 400 persons can't take care of it.
Prime Minister Perry Christie soon arrived, and the protesters swarmed the nation's leader, shouting no promises, but were anxious to have their issues addressed.
With the leader of the Tues, O.B. Ferguson, and the leader of the NCTU, Mr. John Pinder. We've asked them to put in writing everything that they think is a grievance so that we can address them. That was not included in it. So clearly he's caught by surprise as well.
So this is what happens when the government does not give proper consultation with the union who represents the people, so I can tell them what's going on. I don't know what's going on, and they're just all frustrated. We had to meet.
As the government sends their salaries to review for an increase, these workers say they should be considered as well. Janana Well Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
President of the Trade Union Congress, O.B. Ferguson, who represents some 26 unions, says before unions go ahead with any type of action, which they're often anxious to do, they should explore every avenue possible to work with the government and find a resolution. Ferguson said that meetings were held as late as yesterday with the Prime Minister and Labor Minister, and another was planned for tomorrow. He hopes this union can speed up the process on the issue.
Before we do what a lot of workers want us to do, like yesterday, we thought we would be responsible and meet with a view of resolving, if not all of them, certainly, because all of them cannot be resolved within a week or two. Because I don't know how come the government gets so involved with the employers. even though I must admit they're the largest employer, but they're supposed to be the regulator, and they're supposed to be even-handed with all of the players, stake owners. So I don't know why there seems to be a twist.
Ferguson also pointed out this vexing issue that some workers are now facing.
A major problem we have again is where the employees who are now employees, confirmed as employees, these employers are allowed to move them from being an employee to an independent contractor or contract worker. So therefore, they cannot get vacation pay, they can't get sick pay, they can't get no pension pay, no benefits.
Some media houses are reporting that the U.S. government has gained access to the cell phone conversations of those in the Bahamas and have kept the recordings. Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis told reporters that before the government can act on this matter, they must first investigate whether or not the claims are true.
It's trying to understand why they will be doing things of that nature, and then once we understand that, then we might be able to move the next stage.
What right would they have?
Right.
Yeah, what right would they have to listen in on our conversation?
I don't think anyone has a right to listen in anybody's conversation,
So
unless
other actions have breached our national security.
But let us take it in perspective, right? I don't know the truth or otherwise of this allegation. Once we understand whether it's first of all, before opining on what the consequences are or whether it's legal or not, I would prefer to know whether or not it's true. And once we discover whether it's true or not, then we'll take it to the next stage, and I'll be able to address it at a time.
Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, says if confirmed true, the government will be demanding an explanation into the invasion of privacy and abuse of powers by the U.S. An article written by Brazilian journalists based on the leaked documents of government whistleblower Edward Snowden claims that the National Security Agency has been recording Bahamians' mobile conversations through Soma Legat, a part of its Mystic program. Addressing the media today at the Lynden Pinling International Airport, Mitchell said U.S. Charge d'Affaires John Dinkelman gave a more specific warning on May 19th about the article, whose information relates to a period around 2011.
The U.S. Charge d'Affaires John Dinkelman, he flagged the possibility of a story being released based on the leaks of the former U.S. government employee Edward Snowden. The news that there is spying and the collecting of the audio of mobile phone calls by Bahamians, by agencies of another country, is clearly startling. The facts must be determined. Otherwise, the behavior described would be clearly illegal and on the face of it, an abuse of powers.
Now, Mitchell says government is in talks with the U.S. to determine the truth of the matter, and at this point he cannot say how the relationship between the two countries will be impacted.
Following upon the release of the story, the Bahamian Charge in Washington, D.C. contacted the U.S. Foreign Office for an explanation. We expect that Ambassador Eugene Nuri, who is the ambassador and now back in place in Washington, will meet with the U.S. Foreign Office this afternoon. Regardless of what the truth or otherwise is of this, the Bahamas would be taking a similar look at things like data protection, the security of its communications, and how those communications ought to be protected in law.
In other news this evening, earlier this year, NIB launched its new e-system, allowing contributors to track their online contributions.
And today the board replaced those old yellow cards with a new and improved version complete with photo identification. Arla Don Davis has more on the upgrade.
Out with the old, in with the new. Minister, I am pleased to present you with your new National Insurance registration card.
It's
It's a fully protected registration card that more than 500,000 registered customers will have at their fingertips at no cost to them. The new smart card that could easily be mistaken for a credit or debit card will be used to store confidential information from NIB contributions and claims to benefits. Labor Minister Shane Gibson says it's NIB's mandate to improve the quality of service for all registered customers, and the launch of this new card is just the first step.
We are pleased to launch our new national insurance card, which is supposed to be a smart card. We're able to store information from various departments within national insurance. And also one of the things that we're considering as well is because of the biometric use of it is to allow it to be used as a national identity card. We have not gotten approval from Cabinet yet, but it's something that we're looking at. This is just the first phase of launching this card. As you know,
in recent years, there has been several fraud-related cases where cards have been duplicated. Senior Deputy Director of Operations Cecile Bethel says the card has new security features that will deter this criminal act in the future.
Be assured that the card was designed with security in mind. The smart chips provides the potential for data storage of up to 64K, and this was intentionally incorporated for future usage for the storage of encrypted data. For example, more of our own NIB data, data for voter registration, national health insurance, social services.
NIB officials say the registration card will last over a 5-year period and will capture the photo image of registered persons 16 and older. Senior citizens will also receive a special yellow label card. Those cards will not have an expiration date. Now, if you'd like to apply for a new registration card, you can do so at any of the NIB centers scattered across the country or visit the company's website at www.nib/Bahamas.com. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Still ahead tonight, breaking news from the world of track and field. This will shock you.
And the latest from Bahamas Institute. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
Cassie and Bristol, so we have a whole lot of good spinners.